Welcome. You made it to the end of another day, and now this moment is yours. There's nothing left to solve tonight, nothing that needs your attention, nothing waiting for an answer that cannot wait until tomorrow. Right now, the only thing asked of you is to rest. So, wherever you are, whether you're lying in bed, or settling into a chair, or curled somewhere quiet, let your body find the position that feels softest, the one that asks the least of your muscles, the one where gravity does most of the work. Let your shoulders fall, just a little more than they already have. Let your jaw loosen. There's no need to hold it tight. And your hands, open them if they're closed. Let your fingers rest, uncurled, like leaves lying still on still water. Good. Now, take one breath in, slow, all the way down into your belly, and let it go. Don't try to breathe a certain way tonight. Just let your breath find its own rhythm. It knows what to do. It has always known what to do. You were breathing long before you ever had to think about it. So simply, let it happen. In and out. In and out. There you are. Tonight, I'm going to take you somewhere quiet, somewhere you've perhaps never been, or somewhere that feels, somehow, like a place you've always known, a garden, early in the morning, before the world has fully woken, before the heat of the day, before the noise, just the garden, and the dawn, and you. Let's go there now. Imagine you're standing outside a garden gate. It is early, extraordinarily early, the kind of early that most people never see because most people are still asleep at this hour. The sky above you is not yet blue. It is something between violet and gray, a soft and tender color that exists only in the 20 or 30 minutes before sunrise, a color that has no good name. The air is cool against your skin, not cold, just fresh, the kind of freshness that feels clean in your lungs when you breathe it in, the kind that makes you think of dew and grass and sleeping earth. You are wearing something comfortable, something soft against your skin. You don't need shoes for this garden. The ground here is kind. The gate in front of you is old, made of wrought iron, the kind that has spent decades in weather and has come out the other side graceful. Its hinges have greened with age. They are tendrils of something growing through the bars. The dried ends of last season's jasmine, perhaps, curled into small spirals, as though the plant itself has gone to sleep for the season and it is dreaming quietly. You reach out and rest your hands on the latch. It is cool under your fingers, smooth with use. You can feel the slight roughness of old metal, the gentle give of a mechanism that has opened this gate 10,000 times before. You press down, and the gate swings open. No sound, or not quite no sound. There's the faintest creak, the kind of sound that belongs to early mornings, that sounds wrong in the middle of a busy afternoon, but feels absolutely right when the world is this quiet. A small, friendly sound. An old gate saying, "Welcome back." You step through. The stone path beneath your feet is covered in a thin film of dew. You can feel the coolness of it, not unpleasant. The stones themselves are large, irregular, laid long ago by someone who understood that a path through a garden should feel like a gentle invitation, not a march. You take one step, then another, and the garden folds itself around you. The first thing you notice is the smell. There's no single smell in a garden at this hour. It is a layered thing, a conversation between many living things at once. There is the rich, dark smell of soil that has been holding moisture through the night, the smell that lives somewhere between earth and stone. There's the green sharpness of cut grass, even though it hasn't been cut recently. It's just the grass doing what grass does, living out its long, unhurried life. There's something floral too, just a thread of it, something white flowering, something nearby, night blooming, perhaps, just beginning to close now that morning is coming, sweet and cool, and a little melancholy, the way beautiful things can be when they're ending. And underneath all of it, just the smell of air, clean, still, morning air. You breathe it in slowly, and something in your chest, some small knot of tension that you may not have ever even known where it was there, releases just slightly, just slightly. That's enough. The path takes a gentle curve ahead of you. You can see it disappearing into the gray green shadows of the garden's deeper spaces, where old trees stand, their canopies still and dark. But you don't rush toward them. You stand here, just inside the gate, just for a moment longer, and you simply look. The garden is extraordinary, not in a manicured formal way, not the kind of extraordinary that requires effort to maintain. This is the extraordinary of things that have been allowed to grow as they wish, guided gently but never forced. The hedges here are not perfectly square, they are round and imprecise, bulging pleasantly in places where a branch decided to venture out a little further than the rest. The flower beds along the near path are thick with growth, and in the low pre dawn light, you can only make out shapes and dark masses, the tall spires of something that will open blue, the round headed masses of lavender, the sprawling arms of old rose bushes, their thorns invisible in this light. To your left, there's a stone wall, very old, made of rough cut blocks that have shifted and settled over decades into an irregular, beautiful line. Moss grows in the joints between the stones. The wall is perhaps waist high, and along its top, more plants have taken hold, self seeded, wind blown, happy when they've landed. And everywhere, that silence, not a perfect silence, a living one, you can hear if you listen carefully. The very faint sound of something dripping, a tap, perhaps, somewhere deeper in the garden, or water finding its way down from somewhere above, running in a thin thread down a stone surface. Drip, drip, drip. Each drop landing in what must be a small pool or bowl, because each sound is soft and round and resonant, and a bird, just one, far away, beginning its first experimental notes of the morning, not singing yet, just trying out its voice. A few soft calls, then quiet, then a few more. You listen to it. You realize, standing here, that you cannot remember the last time you were somewhere this quiet. In your ordinary life, silence is rare. There's always something, traffic or screens or the particular hum that buildings make, or the low level noise of other human lives happening nearby. Your life, you live surrounded by the sounds of the world, and mostly you don't even notice them anymore because you've grown so used to tuning them out. But here, there's none of that. There's only the drip of water and the tentative bird and the sound of your own breathing. And it is extraordinary. You close your eyes for just a moment. Let the garden hold you. Let the cool air settle around you, something soft and kind. Then you open your eyes again and begin to walk. The path winds gently to the left. As you follow it, the garden shifts around you. The rough stone wall falls away behind you, and on both sides of the path, now planting becomes denser, more intentional. You realize you are walking through what must be a herb garden because the smells change as you move, becoming sharper, more distinctive. On your left, tall stalks of lavender, dozens of them, perhaps hundreds, planted close together, forming a low hedge along the stretch of path. The flowers are still a day or two from fully opening, tight little purple clusters, each one perfect. You run your hand along the tops of them as you walk, and the smell releases. That particular lavender smell, at once calming and clear, that seems to slow the world down slightly when you encounter it. You keep your hand among the lavender as you walk. The stalks are thin and slightly rough around your underneath your fingertips. The flowers leave the faintest powdery residue on your palm. If you lift your hand and smell it, the lavender is there, clean and a little medicinal, the good kind. On your right, low mounds of something with small silver leaves, sage perhaps, or thyme. You crouch down and touch one of the leaves gently, and yes, the smell is unmistakable. Thyme, that ancient quiet smell. The smell of things that have been growing in gardens for 10,000 years. The smell that seems to carry with it something of all those garden mornings before this one. You stay crouched for a moment, close to the ground. From down here, the garden has a different quality. The thyme is a forest in miniature. Its stems are woody and intricate, branching and rebranching in small complex patterns. Tiny insects, barely visible in this light, have made their homes among the leaves. A small spider has strung a web between two stems, a perfect web, every strand beaded with dew, each bead catching what little light there is and holding it. making the web look like something strung with tiny diamonds. You breathe slowly. You notice that your breathing, without you trying to change it, has become slower and deeper since you entered the garden. Your body has been paying attention to this place, to its quietness, to its cool morning air, to the absence of anything that demands anything of you. Your body is smart. It knows when it is safe to let go. You let it. You stand up again and continue along the path. Ahead, the herb garden opens out. The path widens slightly, and you find yourself stepping into a more open space, a small clearing, roughly circular, where the planting falls back and the sky opens up above you. And here you stop because the sky is beginning to change. In the east, you can tell the direction because of a faint brightening, a warming of the gray into something of a hint of a color in it. The darkness is beginning to lift, barely, just a suggestion, really. A watercolor swash of palest pink behind a darker band of gray cloud along the horizon. The kind of color that makes you hold your breath. You stand in the clearing and look up. The rest of the sky above you is still dark enough to show stars, but not many. The pre dawn wash is stealing them gently, one by one. You can see perhaps a dozen, perhaps 15 scattered along across the overhead sky. They look different at this hour than they do at midnight. Not sharp and brilliant, softer, like candles burning low, like they know their time is almost done. You find one star, bright, directly overhead, and you watch it for a while. It doesn't flicker, it just holds its light, steady and clear, far up in the cold dark of the upper sky. You think for a moment about how far that light has traveled to reach your eyes, about the immense distances involved, about how the star itself might no longer exist in the form it has or was when that light began its journey, and about how, despite all of that, here you are, and here is that light, and for a brief moment, the two of you are connected across a distance that the mind cannot truly hold. And somehow, this is deeply, quietly comforting. You are part of this, all of this, the garden and the sky and the stars burning down to their last morning light. You are not separate from it. You are woven into it. The same way the spider's web is woven into the time, the same way the jasmine is woven through the iron gate. You belong here. You always have. A sound behind you, soft and quick, makes you turn. A bird has landed on top of a nearby hedge. You can just make out its silhouette in the gray light. Small, round bodied, its tail flicks once, twice. It sits there, looking at nothing in particular for a long moment. Then it opens its beak and it sings, not the tentative exploratory sound from before. This is real song, a small cascade of notes, clear and unhurried, each note placed with perfect confidence, no hesitation. The bird simply knows what it is doing and has always known, was born knowing, and so it sings. You listen, the song ends, a pause, then it begins again. Slightly different this time, improvised perhaps, a new version of the same theme, as if the bird has not repeating but remembering, finding new ways to say the same true thing. Then a second bird, somewhere further off, answers, just three notes, lower, simpler, a response, a conversation beginning, and then a third from far away. And slowly, very slowly, with great patience, as though it has always happened at exactly this pace and always will, the dawn chorus is beginning. You leave the clearing and follow the path further. It narrows here, shaded on both sides by taller growth, shrubs that have grown into arching shapes, their branches meeting overhead in places, creating a tunnel of leaves through which the path passes. The light is still low, but your eyes have adjusted fully now, and you can see clearly enough. The leaves overhead are perfectly still, not a breath of wind. The path bends once, twice, small curves that feel natural, following the logic of the garden rather than any imposed geometry. And then it opens out again into a larger space. And there, at the far end of the space, is the apple tree. It is very old. You can tell that immediately, not from its size exactly, though it is large, wider than it is tall, its arms spread out in every direction in the unhurried way of a tree that has been spreading a little further each year for many decades. You can tell from the texture of its bark, which is deeply furrowed and ridged, patterned with the kind of complexity that only years can produce. The bark is dark gray, almost charcoal in this light, covered in patches of lichen, gray green, pale yellow, and silver white. Each patch a living thing it's in its own right, each one unhurried, each one permanent. The tree's main trunk divides close to the ground into three great limbs, and each of those limbs divides again and again, and the whole spreading architecture of the tree is visible against the lightening sky, a dark, intricate, perfect structure, like a drawing of a tree made by someone who understood trees from the inside. You walk toward it slowly. As you get closer, you can see that the lowest limbs are within easy reach, not so low as to be awkward, but low enough that you could, if you wished, reach up and rest your hands on the bark of the nearest one. You do. The bark is dry and warm, warmer than you expected, warmer than the air around it, as though the tree has been holding the day's warmth deep inside it through the cold of the night. Under your palm, it is rough and intricate, every ridge and furrow distinct. You press your hand flat against it and simply feel it. A tree, a very old, very alive thing. You feel the solidity of it under your hand, the way it does not move, the way it simply is, rooted many meters down into the earth, entirely secure in its own existence, requiring nothing, asking nothing, simply standing and breathing and growing and being. You lean your back against the trunk, and you close your eyes. The bark presses gently against your back, not uncomfortable. The tree holds you slightly. The way the curve of its trunk provides a natural resting place. You feel the solidity of it behind you, and it is unexpectedly a profound comfort. You breathe, and above you, leaves rustle in the faintest of air movements. Just a few of them. The outermost leaves, where the canopy meets the open air. The rest of the tree is still, but those few leaves are speaking quietly in the language of leaves, which is the language of patience and of water and of light. You listen to them. The dawn chorus is fuller now. It has been building slowly, steadily, while you have been walking through the garden, and now it is a proper thing, a weaving of voices, overlapping and harmonizing and answering, filling the garden with the sound of morning. There must be a dozen birds at least, singing from different positions around the garden, each in its own key and rhythm, and yet there's no sense of cacophony or no noise. It is music, genuine music, made by creatures that have never studied music and never needed to. You listen to it with your back against the old apple tree, and you let it wash over you. Somewhere in the back of your mind, very far away, barely a whisper, a thought tries to form. Something about tomorrow, something that needs doing, a task, perhaps, or a worry. You notice it, you let it float past. You are not there now. You are here in this garden, against this tree, in this dawn. Tomorrow is tomorrow. Tomorrow will take care of itself. Right now, just the birds and the tree and the cool morning air against your face. That's all. That's everything. After a while, you don't know how long, you push gently away from the tree. You feel different than you did when you arrived. Your body is heavier in the good way, the way it feels when tension has been let go, the way it feels when you have been somewhere safe and quiet for long enough that your nervous systems have finally quietly stood down. You are deeply relaxed. You follow the path as it curves away from the apple tree, and within a few paces you find a stone bench. It is set into a shallow alcove created by two yew hedges, not high, but enough to create the sense of a sheltered space. The bench itself is simple, two thick stone legs and a flat stone slab across the top. It is covered in moss along its black edge, the way garden furniture always becomes, given enough years. It is absolutely beautiful. You sit down. The stone is cool, but not unpleasantly so. You settle back slightly and let your weight fall into the bench, into the solid earth beneath it. In front of the bench, perhaps 3 meters away, there is a stone bowl on a low pedestal, old, like everything in this garden. Its basin is wide and shallow, and it is full of water, perfectly still, water that has been collecting here through the night, gathering dew, gathering rain from days past, sitting still and dark and reflecting the sky above it. You look at the water, the sky reflected in its lighter than the sky you saw earlier. The violet gray has deepened into something warmer, not pink yet, but heading there, a promise of pink. And in the water's surface, you can see that the one bright star, the one you watched earlier, reflected now, inverted, burning in the dark water as though the garden has its own small piece of the sky. As you watch, a single ripple moves across the surface, just one, caused by a leaf falling from a nearby tree, landing at the bowl's edge, a tiny disturbance. The ripple spreads in a perfect circle, passes through the reflected star, distorts it for just a moment, and then the water stills again, and the star returns, and the reflection is whole. You breathe in, slowly out. You sit on the bench and feel the garden breathing around you. That's what it feels like, breathing, the slow expansion and settling of something immense and patient. The way the light is changing, slowly, steadily as dawn approaches. The way the bird's chorus builds and shifts. The way the air moves almost imperceptibly, carrying smells. The lavender again, from where you were walking earlier, drifting on the light air. And now something else, something sweeter, honeyed. There must be a patch of something flowering that you haven't found yet. The smell reaches you and dissolves before you can quite name it. Your eyelids feel heavy. You let them be heavy. There's no reason to fight it. You are warm enough, and the bench is firm beneath you, and the garden is all around you, utterly safe, utterly quiet, utterly yours for as long as you wish. Your hands rest in your lap, loose and open. Your legs feel long and heavy. Your back is soft against the stone, and your mind, your busy, hard-working, never quite resting mind, is growing quieter, not empty, not forced into stillness, just quieter. The thoughts that float through are slower now. They come one at a time, move through without snagging on anything, and are gone before you fully formed them, like leaves on water, like ripples settling. The sky is changing. You can feel it more than see it. A warming in the quality of the air, a shift in the quality of the light that falls on your hands and your face. It is not quite sunrise, not yet, but the garden knows it is coming. You can feel the garden knowing. The birds are very loud now. The dawn chorus, which began with one tentative voice and grew so gradually that you didn't notice each new voice joining, is at full volume, a great, joyful, completely unself conscious sound that fills every corner of the garden. It comes from all directions at once. It rises and falls. Individual voices lost in the texture of it, individual songs contributing to something larger than any one song. It is one of the most beautiful things you have ever heard. You sit with your eyes half closed and you listen to it and you think about that There are few things that have been happening every single morning since before human memory began, and this is one of them. Dawn, birds singing, light returning, the earth tilting slowly back toward its star, and everything alive on its surface waking up to greet it. Every morning, without fail, without being asked, and you are here to hear it in this morning. You specifically sitting on this specific bench in this specific garden at this specific pre dawn hour. The chances of that alignment seem impossibly small, and yet you are. Here you are. The thought makes something open gently in your chest, not quite emotion, something quieter than emotion, a kind of wordless recognition. You belong to this, all of this, the waking world. You notice gradually that the garden has begun to materialize around you. What has been shapes and masses and suggestions in the early gray light is now becoming specific. You can see the pale faces of flowers, white roses, open, their petals just holding the last of the night's dew. You can see the silver underside of leaves where the breeze turns them. You can see the moss on the old wall, which is the most tender shade of green you have ever seen. That particular green that only exists in the first light of the morning, that will fade into something ordinary as the day brightens. You can see a cobweb stretched between the two yew hedges on either side of the bench. Above you, like a canopy, you hadn't noticed it before. It is enormous, a broad, complicated architecture of silk covered in dew, each strand made visible by the tiny drops strung along it. It glimmers. In better light, it would be invisible, but at this hour, caught at this uncertain light, it is revealed as something extraordinary, a structure of such precision and such delicacy that it hardly seems possible it was made in a single night. You stare up at it. The drops of dew catch the growing light and hold it, each one a tiny lens, each one containing within it the entire garden, upside down and tiny. If you could get close enough, you would see yourself in each one, sitting on the bench, hands in your lap, eyes half open, very, very still, part of the garden, part of the morning. A minute passes, or 5, or 10. Time moves differently here. You're not sure how long you have been sitting. You're not sure it matters. The sky above the eastern hedge, you can see just the top of it over the hedge line, has gone from warm gray to the palest possible pink. Not quite sunrise, not yet, but the next stage of the promise. You feel a deep settled peace. Your body is very heavy now, very still. Your breath, your breath comes and goes without any effort at all. Just the softest rise and fall, the gentlest rhythm. Your heartbeat is slow and steady, a deep, easy pulse. You are very nearly asleep, but not quite yet. Not yet. Stay here a little longer. The garden is so beautiful at this hour. You rise from the bench, slowly, gently, to walk deeper into the garden. You don't know why. You aren't thinking about it. Your feet simply carries you and you let them. The path here is grass, not stone, soft and cool and damp beneath your feet. You can feel each blade or the impression of many blades together, cushioning each step. It is perhaps the softest thing you have stood on in a long time. You walk slowly. On either side of the grass path, the planting becomes wilder, less composed. This is clearly an older part of the garden, part where things have been allowed to seed and spread and do as they wish. There are large, spreading plants. You think of hostas, their broad leaves, perfect discs, each one holding a reservoir of dew that catches the growing light and holds it. There are ferns, unfurling their slow spirals, each one a living demonstration of patience and of perfect design. And there are trees, smaller trees than the old apple, younger, or perhaps a smaller natured, a cherry, which you recognize by the shape of its leaves, a few of last year's fruit still hanging desiccated on the branches, tiny dark spears, each one a perfect round, a young birch, its white bark luminous in this light, looking almost like it is producing its own light from within, a hawthorn, thick with this year's leaf buds, just beginning to uncurl, tiny and folded, each one a promise. You walk among them. You feel very small and very comfortable with that smallness. The trees are not large, but they are larger than you and older than you, and unders- they understand things you don't. They understand the particular patience of growing one ring at a time. They understand the way seasons return, how the same spring comes back every year without fail, how the roots know what to do even when the canopy is bare and the world looks dead. You put your hand on the birch as you pass. The bark is smooth and cool and slightly papery. It is white in a way that no paint has ever captured, not bright white, not clean white, but an organic white, warm at its edges, marked by the faint horizontal lines that birch bark always carries, like a written record of the tree's own making. You take your hand away and walk on. The grass path ends at a small pond. You don't know how you knew it was here, but you aren't surprised to find it. It feels like a discovery that was always going to happen, like something that was waiting for you. The pond is not large, perhaps 6 or 8 meters across, roughly circular, its edges irregular, where plant life has crept in. Bulrushes on one side, standing perfectly still, their dark cylinders at the top of each stalk reflected in the water below. Irises along another edge, their sword shaped leaves dark and upright. Somewhere under the far bank, you can see the white shapes of water lilies, their pads flat on the water, their flowers not yet open at this hour, closed tight, saving themselves for the full light of the day. The surface of the pond is a mirror. In it, the entire sky, the lightening east with its band of pink, the dark remaining blue of the west, the last few stars, and the silhouettes of the trees along the garden's edge, precise and inverted, reaching downward into the reflected depths. It is absolutely still, not a ripple, not a movement. You crouch at the edge and look down into it, and you see your own face, just a shape in this light, a pale oval above a darker body, your eyes looking back at you from the still water. You stay there for a moment, looking at yourself, looking back. Then a small sound, so small, so contained, breaks the silence. A frog, not a loud frog, just a one quiet, single noted call from somewhere among the rushes. Then silence. You wait. Another call. Three quick notes. Then quiet. You smile. There's a frog in the rushes. In this garden, at this hour, there's a frog in the rushes, and it is commenting on the dawn with its three quiet notes, and nothing in the world could be more perfect than that. You sit beside the pond. Your legs are folded under you or stretched out before you, whatever feels easiest. Your hands rest on the cool, damp grass on your sides. You can feel the moisture of the grass through your clothing that you don't mind. It feels like being very gently held by something vast and patient. The sky is changing faster now. The pink along the eastern horizon has deepened into something warmer. There's a color building there that is almost orange at its edge, fading through shades of gold and rose and finally into the blue of the upper sky. It is the most gradual, most patient, most beautiful color can change you have ever watched. And on the surface of the pond, it is all there. Every shade, every shift. The water holds the sky faithfully, updates it second by second, shows you the morning arriving from the inside of the earth as well as from its surface. You watch both at once, sky above, sky below. The birds are at their fullest now. The sound is enormous, warm and layered, and coming from everywhere. You feel wrapped in it, held in it. It is the sound of some everything alive, celebrating the return of light. Every morning, without fail, every single morning, somewhere on this earth, there is a garden like this one, a still pond, a chorus of birds, light arriving, and somewhere nearby, a frog with three quiet notes saying, "Yes, I am here. The water is cool and the dawn is arriving, and I am here." You feel the first true warmth of the rising sun on your face. Not the sun itself yet, but its light bending around the horizon, painting the air with warmth. Your face feels it the way your face always feels the first warmth after cold, and easing and opening. Something in the muscles around your eyes softening, your forehead smoothing, The slight tension that lives perpetually between your eyebrows dissolving quietly. Your eyes close. You let them. The light diffuse, soft, the gentle gold of very early morning presses through your eyelids and turns the darkness there to a warm amber. You can feel it on your cheekbones, on your lips, on the back of your hands. It is warm. It is so warm and so gentle and so good. You are lying down now. You're not sure exactly when that happened. At some point, the garden and the bench and the path and the morning simply became the pillow beneath your head and the weight of blankets and the warmth of a bed. The garden is still with you. You can feel it. You can feel the cool air and the smell the lavender and hear the birds and see behind your closed eyes the pale gold of first light. But your body is in bed, and your bed is exactly where the garden is, because the garden is a place you carry inside you. It has always been there, that particular peace, that particular stillness, that particular quality of a morning before the world gets loud. It lives inside you, in the same place that all true peace lives, not outside, not found, not dependent on being in a specific place at a specific time. It is yours. It is always yours. And tonight, you found your way back to it. The birds are still singing, somewhere very far away now, at the edges of your hearing, a sound that it is woven into the background of things, like breathing, like the sound of the world being itself. The garden is still around you. The water in the pond is still. The old apple tree stands at the garden's heart, its roots deep in the dark earth, patient, certain, entirely itself. The cobweb overhead catches the first direct light of the sun, and for one brief moment it glitters, each dewdrop a tiny burning star, and the dew begins to evaporate slowly, one drop at a time, each one giving back to the air from which it came. The roses are open now, fully open, their white faces turned toward the light. The lavender hums very softly with the first bees of the morning, newly woken from their night in the warmth of the hive, venturing out into this cool gold morning to find the first flowers, moving from bloom to bloom with that particular bumblebee certainty, that absolute conviction that the world is full of sweetness and all you have to do is look. The frog in the rushes have gone quiet. It had what it needed to say and it said it. And now it rests in the cool water among the reeds, small heart beating steadily, cool blood moving through its cool veins, at the peace in with the morning, entirely at peace. Your breath is very slow now, so slow you might not notice it happening at all. In and out, in and out, each breath slightly slower than the last, your whole body sinking, softening, settling. Your shoulders are so heavy, your arms are so heavy, your legs, your feet, all of it resting now, truly resting, not just lying still, but resting in the deepest sense, letting go, releasing every small holding on that the body does what it is managing itself through a long day. Every small effort and adjustment, all of it released, surrendered to gravity, surrendered to the earth beneath you. The garden holds you, the morning holds you. At the very far corner of the garden, past the pond, past the birch trees, there's a corner you haven't seen yet. You go there now, not exactly, not walking exactly, moving in the way of half dreams, gliding gently. In this corner, there are three old beehives, simple wooden hives, painted once in soft colors, white and pale blue and the palest yellow. The paint faded and peeling gently at the corners, weathered beautifully by many years of rain and sun and rain again. In front of each hive, there's a small wooden platform, a landing board, and even now, even at this early hour, you can see the first bees emerging, tentative, testing the air, moving their wings to warm them. One by one, they lift off, drifting out into the morning garden, unhurried, knowing exactly where they are going, knowing the lavender, knowing the roses, knowing every flower in this garden the way you might know the rooms of a house you grew up in. The sound of them is the sound of summer, of warmth, of sweetness, a low, gentle drumming. You stand among the hives and feel the warmth coming off them, actual warmth, the living warmth of a 10,000s of small bodies doing what they have always done, making warmth, making sweetness, making life. There's a scent here too, something between honey and wax and wood and warm air, the smell of hive itself, which is one of the oldest and most comforting smells in the world, because humans have been finding this smell and feeling safe near it for longer than we can remember. You breathe it in, and your whole body softens further. The sun is fully above the horizon now. You can feel it clearly. The garden is warm, not hot, just warm with morning. The dew is lifting from the grass, becoming invisible, returning to the sky. The shadows of the trees fall long and soft across the ground, pointing west, growing shorter with each passing minute. Everything in the garden looks different in direct sunlight than it did in the blue gray of the pre dawn, more ordinary, and at the same time, more extraordinary. Because the sunlight is a kind of truth, it shows things as they are. The roses aren't mysterious in sunlight, they are just roses, very beautiful roses. Real flowers with real petals and real thorns, and a very real smell that the warming air is now releasing in fullest clouds of sweetness. And the apple tree is just an apple tree, old and spreading and covered in lichen, a tree, and the pond is just a pond, still holding the sky. A frog somewhere in it is its rushes. Water lilies beginning very slowly to open. Just the garden, just the morning, just this. And it is everything. It is more than enough. It is exactly the right amount. Your breathing is so slow now. The line between the garden and sleep has dissolved. You are here and here, there at the same time. The way dreams work, the way rest works at its deepest. The cool grass under your hands has become the softness of your pillow. The warmth of the morning sun has become the warmth of your blanket. The sound of the birds, so familiar now, so woven into your half sleeping mind, has become simply the background of being alive, the constant quiet sound beneath everything, proof that the world is continuing, proof that morning is here, proof that all is well, all is well, all is well, all is well. In the garden, there is no gardener here this morning. No one tends to it at this hour, and yet the garden is tended because it tends itself the way all living things tends themselves given enough time and enough trust. The roots go where the roots needs to go. The water finds its own way through the soil. The seeds that fell last autumn have been sleeping in the cold ground and they know, without being told, exactly when to wake. They wake slowly, so slowly, putting out the first tentative threads of themselves into the dark earth, finding moisture, finding the particular minerals they need, growing toward the warmth they can't yet see but somehow knows is up there, always up there, waiting. This is what rest does. When you stop trying, when you let yourself simply be, when you stop managing and controlling and solving, something begins to happen by itself. The mind finds its own path, the way the roots find theirs. The body heals in the way it needs to heal, which you cannot direct, cannot hurry, can only allow. The sleep is that allowing. The sleep is the garden gardening itself. And tonight, you are giving yourself that gift, the gift of stopping, the gift of trust, the gift of lying still in the dark earth of yourself and simply being. The garden is in full morning light now, bright, warm, still quiet, but the quiet of a later hour, a more settled quiet. The birds are less frantic now, their chorus has softened. Individual songs audible again. A blackbird somewhere very near, its song a long liquid pouring, one note into the next without seam. You are lying in the grass near the pond. The grass is warm now. The dew is gone. Each blade dry and slightly rough and smelling of green. Above you, the sky is deepening to its morning blue, the soft, uncertain blue of early day, not the deep blue of noon, but the pale, open, endless blue of a morning that has only just begun. A cloud drifts through it, white, slow, enormous, and weightless. You watch it with half closed eyes. It moves so slowly, it barely seems to move at all. And yet, you looked away and looked back, it would have shifted, impossibly gently. It is always moving, even when it seems to stand still, like sleep, like breathing, like the steady, patient processes of a body taking care of itself, always moving, even in stillness, always working, even at rest. Let go. You don't need to hold anything together tonight. Everything is held. The garden is held in the earth. The earth is held in the sun's gravity. The sun is held in the arms of the galaxy. And you are held here, now, completely. Let your eyes close. Let the garden remain, not as a picture you have to maintain, but as something that simply is. The way things simply are when we stop needing them to be anything other than what they are. The smell of lavender, the sound of water, the warmth of morning on your face, the slow, deep rhythm of your breath, the weight of your body, the softness beneath you, the darkness behind your eyes, the gentleness of now. You are falling asleep now, truly, deeply asleep. The garden has done what gardens do. It has given you back to yourself. The part of you that was tired is resting. The part of you that was worried has set the worry down. The part of you that was holding on has let go. There's nothing left to tend to, nothing left to manage, nothing left to figure out. Only this, only breath, only rest. The old apple tree stands in the morning light, its leaves turning, its roots deep, its worms wide. It has been here for many mornings. It will be here for many more. And in the earth beneath it, the soil is full of life, full of the slow and the patient lives of things that never hurry, that never worry, that simply do what they do in the way things that they have always done it. And the pond is still. The water lilies are open now, the white and gold against the water, their roots in the dark mud, their faces in the light. You are very deeply asleep. The garden continues without you. This is the beauty of it. Things continue, life continues, morning continues. While you rest, the world keeps gently on. The bees work the lavender, the spider rebuilds its web, the birds sing and falls quiet and sings again. The clouds move, the light shifts, the earth turns, and you sleep, you sleep. The garden, quiet now, full morning light, warm and gold and still, a butterfly, somewhere among the roses, wings opening and closing, very slowly, the water, your breath. Rest now, rest, sleep well.